Hello, my name is Tatum Lorway, and this is my first lesson plan for DAE 405. My lesson plan is on internet addiction, and the big idea was internet addiction in the age of technology and the irony of it. This is a targeted grade level of 8th grade, and the anticipated time frame is about 3 weeks, depending on how in-depth you decide to go with it and if you decide to do a different medium or not. I personally, for this assignment, did colored pencils as their medium with some ink and regular pencil drawing. Here's my example. I believe that in the world we live in, we revolve around technology and we depend on it for so many things. We use it for communicating, learning, traveling, networking, banking, cooking, etc. It has found its way into every inch of our life. However, many have become too dependent on it and addicted to it. A lot of us can't escape it, and we don't want to. We crave it. We have some tics that people have now, where, for example, you hear buzzing, you automatically know or think that it's a notification on your phone. You assume that is that technology and you crave to be on it. It's important to teach students about this issue so they can become more aware of it and be aware of how they're using it responsibly, and that unplugging is essential. The key concepts to this lesson plan is I want to have them utilizing research through detailed work as well as communicate different interpretations and meanings through it by choice of influence and clear portrayal of subject matter. They'll be using symbolism and expressionism to increase their understanding of connections and ultimately cause the learner to be more in depth about the topic, how it applies to themselves as well as the world. This lesson plan really is for a way for students to dig deep into themselves and evaluate their connection to technology and how they have let it rule their life or influence their life, or how they've used it to better themselves or how it is negatively affecting themselves. It's important to keep that connection and those areas of importance on the outside. Also, students will be able to correctly use elements and principles of design to create successful pieces of work. I want them their objective is to clearly explain and respond to questions of their choice of subject matter, technique in relation to the big idea, using vocabulary terms, and purposeful intention in writing, presentation, and speech. They'll have to understand how technology and mass media influence perception, communication, preference, and the arts. I wanted to contribute to the awareness and understanding of their lives and the lives of their communities through art making. How can we learn from our responses of art? And how can we connect it to a problem or a social justice issue like this that rules over pretty much everyone? Everywhere you look, there is going to be somebody on their phone, at least one, minimum. Tops, there's no limit. Through this, I have an artist, Peter Davis, created an amazing series of work called Phone Addiction. His is a less obvious or literal approach to the topic. You don't see the symbolic, illusionist aspects of art or elements of illustrations that people have added in. His are interactions that are normalized, they're common. For example, the picture you're seeing now is of just a woman reading off of a tablet. It shows a range from the various obvious and powerful pieces pertaining to the topic to more subtle ones that invite the viewer to look at it a bit longer and consider its meaning. It's an outside look, a new perspective. We're so used to being on our phones that we don't even realize how normalized we've made it. It's almost an expectation now for everyone to be zoned into their screens. This piece of work specifically shows how aggressive the hold of technology has on our focus and our persons. I want students to be able to talk with each other and what they're really saying and respond to its message. Some more examples from unknown artists are the more illustrative approach. Rather than using more representational elements, these can be more graphic, flat images, or very obvious and conceptual pieces. There's some more. The actual lesson plan itself sequence is we'll introduce it and do a pre-assessment of their personal connection to technology and how it influences their lives. We'll move into reflection and connection, symbolism. We'll go into Pinterest so they can get some ideas moving, do some research on the topic so they can get a little bit more. Again, I want to stress the importance of building up to a finished. The process is much more important than the outcome, because if your process develops and slowly becomes more clear over time, so will your finished piece, and that will improve the success of the final. We'll go into thumbnailing, elements of composition, design, reference, line drawing, value studies, color studies, drawing progress. I'm really breaking down all of the elements that build up to that final piece to just be very thorough and give them the due time that they deserve to create very thoughtful pieces of artwork. So here's another image if you wanted to see a little better of the piece that I created. I want my students to be doing a piece that they believe is how technology influences humankind and the human race, how it influences society and our perspectives on the world. I did mine in color pencil, and that's how I will want my students to do it. We're not focusing on mixing colors. We're not focusing on other elements that are beyond. I want them to be focusing on the message and how to clearly illustrate it, with the composition being taken into mind most and foremost, and being able to clearly show the story so the viewer understands either immediately, or they will be very obvious and very glaringly clear once it comes into mind. For presenting and critiquing, I'm going to do it where they're individually presenting to the class. This is going to help with the viewers and their conceptual and their analytical skills, and this will also help with their public speaking skills. I believe that a lot of people have so much trouble conveying their thoughts into words, and art already does a fantastic job of making thought go into visuals, that moving it into words is just that next step that will strengthen their storytelling, which can then be translated into their illustrations going forward and their pieces of art. I believe in the compliment sandwich. What is their strengths? What have they done? I want them to learn from the project. So what did they learn? What did they like and what did they dislike? Presenting it, giving time to ask questions and give comments. And we should be able to appropriately answer all of them with this knowledge on the actual topic itself on technology addiction, as well as the techniques and the art concepts that you've learned over time. You can make this easier or harder depending on what medium you go to, how in depth you go into it. You could even extend it by giving them a lot of time to really delve into this topic and really clean up their work. I hope that you like it. I'm very excited to go over this. I'm very passionate about this topic, and I hope that you have a great day.